Most small businesses and artists rely on markets and Comic-Cons as a primary source of income. However, when COVID hit in 2020, that was taken away and left many people panicking about how and where they would get their income from. Thankfully, the global lockdowns did create a huge spike in online shopping, so platforms like Etsy performed much better than usual, and it also gave birth to the idea of virtual markets. But what is a virtual market? Virtual markets are like any regular market, except they are hosted online and designed to push online shoppers directly to your webshop by hosting a range of artists on one website or market, and they are there to showcase your work, offer a background story as to what you do and sell, and with the market organisers following this, should direct these online shoppers directly to your website where they can purchase your products. But are they worth it? If you've never attended a virtual market, then you're in the right place. I'm going to break down the pros and cons of attending these virtual events to help you decide if they're worth your time and money based on my personal experiences. And just before we get into the pros and cons of virtual markets, I just want to make a quick disclaimer that these comments are not intended to offend any virtual market organiser. They're not directed at any one particular organiser. These are just tips and advice based on my experiences. So what are the pros to attending a virtual market? Well, the biggest pro for me is that they are much cheaper to attend in all aspects. So the cost of having your place on the virtual market website is much cheaper than attending a physical market. There are no travel costs involved, so if you attend a market or a Comic-Con that's in another city or even local to you, you don't have to worry about paying for petrol or bus or train fare or whatever it is when you're attending a virtual market. And of course with that there are no accommodation costs. So if you attend a market or a Comic-Con that is a few miles away from where you live or even in a different city, and especially if it's spread across a couple of days, like a 2-day Comic-Con, then you're going to have to factor in the cost of accommodation for that event. And of course, the main reason that we all do markets and Comic-Cons is to make money. So if you don't have to pay £200 for a hotel that weekend, then that is a huge cost you're saving, and there is less money that you have to recoup through sales. That also means that there is no stress when it comes to setting up. Now, when it comes to physical markets and events, you're often up very early. You've got to be there before everyone else, you've got to carry heavy stock with you, set up the table, and all of these things take a lot of time and energy. With a virtual market, you don't have to worry about any of that. You provide the organiser with images that you think best represents your small business, whether it's pictures of you, your products, and just things that you want to promote, and images that you think are going to grab potential customers to get them interested in what you do and what you sell. Another pro is that if you suffer with social anxiety, then you don't have to worry about interacting with any customers on the day. These virtual markets are hosted online, so there is no customer-seller interaction. These people just go onto the online market, look through the vendors on the website, and just click on the artists that interest them. So if you are someone who suffers with social anxiety, you don't feel comfortable speaking to new people in such a busy environment, then online markets are great for that, because that completely eliminates any social interaction that you would otherwise have at a physical market. The final pro that I've got listed is up for debate, depending on what you find cool, but I think that having your work listed on another person's website can be quite cool. Obviously, you upload your own work to Instagram, other social medias, your own website as well. But when you see it on somebody else's website and they've taken the time out, regardless whether you've paid for it or not, they take the time out of their day to upload this stuff to their website so that other people can see, that can be quite a neat feeling, and you know that other people are going to see this as well, and you're not in charge of pushing everything out to try and reach new customers and do the marketing on your end. So it can be quite cool. to see someone else doing that on your behalf. Again, that's up for debate. Some people might not be bothered, but for me personally, I always think it's quite nice to see your work on different platforms that you would otherwise not be able to reach. Now, just before we carry on to the cons of virtual markets, this feels like the perfect time to talk to you guys about Patreon. Patreon is, of course, a virtual subscription service, so you can upload work, whether that's complete or works in progress, and people pay a monthly subscription fee to view that work. And myself and the cats are also on Patreon, and they are recruiting for their cult, so you can find the link to our Patreon in the description below. You can catch up on the past year and a half worth of exclusive content now, as well as seeing videos like this before they go live on YouTube, so you're the first person to watch these videos. We upload projects that are in the works and not yet finished before anyone else on social media sees them. And we do have tiers starting from just £1 a month, so they are very affordable. And each tier also offers a 7-day free trial, so that you can check out everything that I've just listed without giving us a penny, just to see if it is for you. Of course, if you do join, it means the absolute world, and I do believe that Patreon is the best way for small artists and businesses to create a stable income. If you would like to learn more, the link is in the description, and we really appreciate it. Thanks guys, and back to the video. So with all that being said, what are the cons of hosting a virtual market? Well, the main con is that people aren't actually forced to look at your work. They can go on the website and scroll through all these different artists, and they're not forced to click on any of them. So yes, you are getting the exposure in that sense, and you are reaching new customers that you might have otherwise not, but there is nothing in place that ensures that everyone who attends these virtual markets, that they're actually gonna check out your work. And with that as well, people might not be in the buying mindset. People often go to markets with cash in their wallet or purse with the intent of shopping. They go to a market to spend money, to see what the local community has to offer. With a virtual market, it's just like scrolling through any other website, so people aren't in that mindset that they're going to spend money. And of course, the main reason that we all attend markets and events like this is to make money, so that can be quite a big downfall. It does depend on when the virtual market is being held, so closer to holiday periods like Christmas, events that run through October to December could create a different mindset, because people are buying for Christmas, people are buying presents for friends and family, so the time of year can play quite a heavy impact on that. Another downside is that you can't actually interact with any of these potential customers, which can also heavily impact sales. So when I've been to physical markets and Comic-Cons, one of the main reasons people buy is because you're there explaining your work, why you create it, why you're passionate about it. And you can't do that with a virtual market. So you can't sell yourself or your work. People are literally just relying on the images that you've provided. So again, going back to the pros, if you do suffer with social anxiety, then that might not be such a big issue for you. But at the end of the day, like I say, we are there to make money and to sell things, and if you can't interact with potential customers and sell yourself and your work, then that's going to have quite a heavy impact on the sales that you make. Virtual markets, like regular markets, are also heavily dependent on the organisers doing their job properly. So you need to trust that the event organiser has a big following. They know how to market it properly and reach the people, the right people, who are going to attend and then spend their money at this virtual event. The same can be said for physical markets as well, but the only difference there is that physical markets typically have natural footfall. So if you're in a city centre or a town, people are already out and about, running errands, shopping, doing whatever they're doing, and if there's a market on, they might just think, oh, we'll pop in for 5 minutes and see what's going on. With a virtual market, you're entirely reliant on the organiser pushing as much traffic as they can to this virtual market, and if they can't do that properly or they don't know what they're doing, then chances are you're not going to sell much, if anything at all. So if you are interested in doing a virtual market, it's really important that you research the organiser, you see what their following's like and their interaction on social media, and you can trust that when the virtual market goes live, that they know what they're doing to ensure that as many people as possible visit this website and view your stall. All in all, these cons make it quite difficult to make your money back. I know I said they are cheaper to attend, and they are. Virtual markets, depending on the organiser, can be sort of anywhere up to £20, which is quite cheap, compared to physical markets that can be £50, or even Comic-Cons that go into the hundreds of pounds. But if they can't drive that traffic, then you're not getting that £20 back, regardless of how amazing your work is. So that's just something to bear in mind. Overall, I would say virtual markets are not really worth it unless you're 100% sure that the organiser has a large following and they know what they need to do when it comes to marketing that event and pushing as much traffic to it as possible. Otherwise, you're paying for a space on a website that almost nobody is going to look at, and of course, you're there to make money, whether that's virtual or in person. Even with that being said, you still won't have the opportunity to talk to potential shoppers like you would at a regular market, and more often than not, like I said before, it is the human interaction that leads to sales. However, if you are new to markets and you don't feel ready to throw yourself into a social situation like a physical market, then these virtual ones can be great to give yourself a little confidence boost, get a feel for how markets can run. Even though it is virtual, there are some similarities, and you can at least show off your work to new customers. Even if they don't buy, you are reaching a new audience. That can lead to followers on social media, which in turn leads to building a brand, and again, in the future, that can lead to more sales. And again, this is entirely reliant on the organiser advertising their market properly. I hope you guys found these tips useful. Again, this is not intended to offend or upset anyone who has hosted an online market before. I have had positive experiences. I just want to give you guys who haven't attended and are maybe thinking about it a true insight as to what to expect, and give you guys the pros and cons to weigh up for yourself before you do give your hard-earned money to an event organiser. If you did find it helpful, please give this video a like, it really helps me out. Leave a comment if your experiences are similar, if you have attended a virtual market before, or leave a comment if you are thinking about attending one. Don't forget to subscribe for videos like this every single week on a Sunday at 7 PM. Join our cult on Patreon, that is in the description below, if you want to see these videos before anyone else, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks guys.